All right, welcome into the Lowe Zone, everybody. I'm Justin Lowe. That's Oscar Creed. We're back yet another week. A lot has been going on in the NBA in the past week. Honestly, Oscar, in the past 24 hours, there's been a lot going on. One of those things that have been going on, you know more about this than I would since you cover the Magic on a day to day basis. After missing the last two full seasons due to injuries, back to back injuries for Jonathan Isaac. He has been shut down for the remainder of the season after tearing his left adductor muscle. He has received successful surgery, but again, this will keep him out an extended amount of time. Even if the Magic do go on a play-in slash playoff run, there's the likelihood of him playing is very, very, very unlikely. Oscar, this is very, very unfortunate because we've seen the potential of Jonathan Isaac not only throughout his career, but especially these last 11 games that he's been able to participate in. What's it looking like right now for Jonathan Isaac and the Orlando Magic?
It's heartbreaking. It really is. I mean, when we look at Jonathan Isaac, of the former sixth overall pick, he's had a key role in the Orlando Magic's postseason runs in years prior, and has looked really nice this season. In fact, through those 11 games that he's played for the Magic this season, they went 8-3, and he only played 11 minutes per game in those 11 games, which really paints a picture like he's so effective even when he's not playing big minutes. I want to quickly run through Jonathan Isaac's injury history ever since the 2018-19 season. I didn't want to go back to 2017-18 because I don't really count those rookie injuries. They happen to all rookies. So, he starts off his career. He's got two right ankle sprains in the 2019 season, and he goes into concussion protocol. The next year, right ankle sprain, hyperextended left knee. The Magic then were denied a disabled player exception request from the NBA. And then Isaac said, well, then I'll aim to play in the bubble. He was then shut down in the 2020 postseason and did not partake in the bubble. 2020-22 comes around, received another minutes restriction, and then tore the ACL in his left knee. He was that in that case, the Magic were granted a disabled player exception for Isaac. He was sidelined for the following season after, in which he suffered a setback and had to get surgery on the setback. So his legs have been through hell and back, and come this season he returns, and then it's a completely unrelated injury that's keeping him sidelined for the rest of this season. Instead of a knee injury, thank goodness, he tore his left adductor, which means his left thigh. It's a muscle in your thigh, and I looked it up, and it says that the recovery time can take anywhere from 3 weeks to 14 weeks for athletes. Knowing the Magic and their caution towards injured players, as well as their approach with Jonathan Isaac over the last 2 years, they'll probably take a little longer than that, and it was safe for them to shut him down for the season.
25 years old. He'll be 26 by the time he returns to the floor, October 3rd to be exact. What is this like for a player? Not only just a player in general, but this guy has been riddled with injuries since he was drafted. And it really stinks because even when he has been playing, I mean, at one point he was in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year. What does this do, I guess, mentally for him? I mean, injury after injury, and these aren't little ticky tack injuries, miss a game, miss a couple games. These are season ending, miss 2 seasons, now a third season injury for Jonathan Isaac. What do you think that does mentally for him?
I like to use Sean Livingston as an example for guys really battling adversity with major injuries, and I know it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges here, but Sean Livingston was the guy that tore every ligament in his knee possible, and every major ligament, his ACL, MCL, and his PCL, all in one play. He had to then change the way he played so that he wasn't he didn't explode off drives as much. He didn't come to hard stops. He was able to maneuver his play style in a way that was less harmful for his body. And unfortunately, Jonathan Isaac will probably have to follow that route when he gets back. And my biggest qualm with everything is that, yeah, he's 26, or he's going to be 26 soon. Magic fans, a small portion of them at least, have lost a lot of faith in the guy
Yeah.
after this, calling for him to be traded, calling for his release from the team, which is really heartbreaking and in a way moronic. Looking at his contract over the next 2 years, he's supposed to make $17 million per year. However, there are what do you call them? Just like there are boundaries in place. So if he, and they knew this when they signed him to this mega contract because they knew he was injury prone, but they also recognized his impact on defense and offense to an extent. So, if he misses all of next season, he will be paid 5.4 million of the 17 million dollars that he's supposed to be owed. And for the season after that in 2025, if he misses that season, he's paid nothing. So it's really not a huge cap hit for the Magic if they choose to keep him on board and rehabilitate him. And in my eyes, you're not going to be able to trade him. Other teams don't find him desirable at this point in time. But the Magic have seen enough, and Magic fans who pay close attention have seen enough to know that this guy needs to stay on this team. Even if he's half of what he was before, his defense is quite literally game-changing, and you don't see that with a lot of players nowadays.
Yeah, I think I was going to say, it also comes down to people think, and you get these Instagram, these social media GMs, think they could just trade a player like that. Like, you have to put it into perspective. And it's like, not only do the Magic have to have a say in it, but the other team has to have a say in it as well. Are they really going to want to take on a salary, even if it isn't that big of a salary? Are they going to want to take on a player who can't even play on the court? How is that going to factor in at the moment? Like that, like people don't take that into consideration. And Celtics are going through something similar to that right now with Danilo Gallinari, where Gallinari is a great experienced vet. He provides great offense. His passing is phenomenal for a big guy, as well as his perimeter shooting can space the floor out. But he hasn't been able to play, and that's a question that everybody had. Why wasn't he dealt at the deadline? Well, who wants to take on somebody who's most likely not going to be able to play come down the regular season? So those all go into factor for sure. But prayers up to Jonathan Isaac because we know it sucks because I love Jonathan Isaac and I think he's just what he does on the court is just so amazing and I feel like it's very underappreciated. Granted, the last 2 to 3 years we've barely gotten to see him on the floor, but when he is on the floor, I say this about Gordon Hayward as well. Like it sucks that Hayward is so injury riddled because when he is on the floor and he is producing, he is so highly valuable to their team, to whatever team he's on. And that's similar to Jonathan Isaac. It's just can't stay healthy. And again, those long-term injuries suck. But you know what? Let me tell you what, this guy has been riddled with injuries the past few years, but it's Kevin Durant continuing his greatness. He is in Phoenix now. If you're just joining us, this is the Lowe Zone, but we're talking right now. Kevin Durant passed the big O on the all-time scoring list. He's now 13th all-time scoring. He's trying to get to LeBron. He's not going to get there, but he's trying. 13th on the list. He's right behind Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. Is that? Yeah, Olajuwon. Okay, boom. He's right behind Olajuwon, about 200 points, just over that. Talk about KD. This is interesting because we talk about the legacy of KD, but there's no denying that Kevin Durant is truly one of the greats that we've seen play this game, at least in our day.
Yeah, I mean, during his stint with the Golden State Warriors, it was hard for me to, put him in that conversation. And I was like, sort of like the average fan who saw him make that move. And I really thought to myself, when you tarnish, even if you are bringing home championship rings, this is a narrative as old as time, but there are going to be asterisks next to those rings. As much as people want to dispute that, always there's going to be the argument that, oh, he joined the stacked team and he was able to, he didn't even push them over the edge. He just made, a king more of a god. That being said, what he was able to do in Brooklyn after his injury, I mean, it's hard to dispute the fact that the guy quite literally is capable of carrying a team to the playoffs, but he's not quite capable of being the only guy to lead a team to a championship. And I mean, look, yeah, he gets all the hate and I think that a lot of the hate is warranted in a way, never like in a, don't go spite the guy, making it personal. But, as fans and enthusiasts of the game, it's fair for us to critique his moves. I think you could safely say he's a top 15 player in NBA history. I don't think I'm ready to put him in the top 10. He needs to prove a little bit more to me. But at the end of the day, what does he care? Like if the objective view of Kevin Durant is that he's a top 10 player of all time, he might be a top 10 player of all time. To me, he's not. What about you?
What is it? What is it he has to prove? When you say that, what is it? Is it winning a title without guys like Steph on his team, guys like Westbrook on it? What will put him over the edge compared to where he's at right now on not only just his scoring list, but in general, his legacy?
So to crack the top 10 all time, you need to prove as much as guys like, Shaq and Kobe, Wilt, LeBron, Jordan, Kareem, Malone, Dirk, whoever you want to put in your top 10. At the end of the day, it's a sweeping statement to make, but to be able to take your team to a championship, he did that in Oklahoma City, but he needs to prove that he can be. It's hard to put into words, man. I'm really struggling because the accolades do speak for themselves for the most part, and I'm trying my best not to sound hypocritical here, but it's just like for me at least, to acknowledge him as a top 10 player, he needs to be the clear-cut number one option. He needs to be more of a factor on defense, and he needs to make his teammates better. And I think that might be one thing that he's not stellar at doing. He's a great shot creator, a great individual talent. His skill set is something we've never seen before in a player of his stature, but he demands too much, and he's unable to sort of get other players the opportunities they deserve, like a LeBron James or like a Kobe Bryant type of player.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. For me, I really, really wish that OKC team worked out, because that was a fun team. Like, not only was the league fun at the time, but like Russ and James Harden, they weren't established. They weren't necessarily. I don't want to say the players that they are now, but they weren't their MVP selves when they were on the come up. And I think if those three just could have worked it out, and gotten past the Golden State Warriors, I think that would have been something amazing, truly, truly accomplishing and amazing for Durant in his career. But I'm not going to sit here and discredit him. A championship's a championship. I don't have any. I will never win any. So I'm not going to sit here and
Well, before you go
talk
on,
about that.
Before you go on, I kind of have a bit of a beef with that claim you make about, it's almost like our opinions are entirely invalid because we don't play basketball at the same level that they do. I mean,
No, I'm just saying
you're right.
I could never do. I could never
you're right.
do what
I'm not trying to like beef you on it, but my thing is like, without critical analysis from enthusiasts and fans, there's not really as big of a draw from the NBA. And I think, it's almost our duty to use things like accolades that they weren't able to, reach at some point in order to determine where they rank all time. And our opinion's valid. And if I want to criticize a guy like Steve Nash for never getting a championship, like, and someone tells me, oh, well, where are your MVPs? Where are your All-Star game selections and stuff like that? It's like, well, it's almost just a baseless, useless argument. And Mark in the comments here makes a good point. Media does pay the bills. The NBA flourishes because, the media plays such a big role in creating dialogues and healthy or toxic controversies. But at the end of the day, I think we all have the same right to criticize these guys at the same level.
So here's the thing with me. It's because for me, bro, I will never discredit anything I guess they do in terms of like, I don't know. When I say that, I mean it. Like, I could never do what they do.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming from. But like, also, like, I would never get into it with a NBA player like that. Like, I would never just walk up to Durant and say, and I'm not saying you will,
No,
but
yeah.
I could never, get in an argument about KD because I haven't been in his shoes. I have not been through the experiences that he's been in. I can have my own opinions about it, and I could stand by those opinions. But for me, I haven't been in the NBA. I haven't accomplished anything in terms of on the basketball court. So we're talking about basketball. We're not talking about personal lives. We're not talking about, we're not talking about girlfriends, we're not talking about stuff like that. Like we're talking about accomplishments and accolades that happen on the basketball court. So like that's where like I don't want to discredit anything they do because that's not I feel like they wouldn't do the same to me. They wouldn't just come at me.
No,
And
no,
you know
and
what I mean? Like in the
yeah.
media, like I feel like it goes both ways, but I 100% I agree with what you're saying, but like that's where I come from when I say that. I could never do what they do. And I think it's a fair thing to say in terms of what if they come back and like you said, like hey man, like you don't know what you don't know what I do. You don't know what I go through. You don't know how hard it is. You're right. I don't know how hard it is. So I feel like it'd be insensitive of me to come out here and say you joining a team of Steph and playing against LeBron and stuff like LeBron and the Cavs. That's easy. Like you swept them. Like that's easy. That's easy. It's like I'll tell you right now, bro. I couldn't go out there and play against the 7-59 Charlotte Bobcats and score points. So like that's where I'm coming from. But opinion wise, and I understand that. But experience wise, I could never go out there and just trash a player like that.
To wrap this part up, I would get buckets against the 7-59 Charlotte Bobcats. I would actually yam it on Sagana Jope time and time again. I want to see a guy Gerald Henderson try and guard me, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, look, we have what do we got next? What do we got next? Okay, you know what? Let's talk about this because this is something that's happened in the last 24 hours, and we were forced to cover it. We were forced all day yesterday to post on our social media about the Memphis Grizzlies, a
you know what's
team that I know I just ranted and said I wouldn't discredit NBA players because I could never do what they do. But guess what? Guess what? This Memphis team is on their goddamn high horse. Are you kidding? I mean, what is it? What is going on in Memphis? What is going on in Memphis? Unrest in Memphis. John Morant to take time away from the organization after controversy rises. Look, shined a gun. I'm going to say it. He shined a gun on social media a couple days after accusations of him pulling up on a 17-year-old, threatening to beat him up, then flashed a gun on him. Whether the gun was real, whether the gun was fake in the live, that's totally inappropriate. It's totally unprofessional. And honestly, it's a real low move, a real low move. We'll discuss that in a minute, and we'll get our thoughts and opinions on that. Brandon Clark, this one is it because I don't wish injury upon anybody, but except Kyler. Brandon Clark to miss the remainder of the season due to injury. This one hurts because I think Brandon Clark is such a fun player to watch on the basketball court. And let me pull up the exact injury. He suffers a Achilles tendon tear, so he's going to be out for the remainder of the season. Dylan Brooks is to be suspended one game. He picked up his 16th technical foul. I believe that was in the game against the Denver Nuggets. So they're down men right now. They are down drastically right now. So what's going on in Memphis? This is just, this is the top, and it's just like their elevator is going down right now. Like they're hitting a major blow. The Polar Express smacks right into like the friggin' a mountain. Like this is the lowest of lows I feel like you could be right now. What's going on in Memphis? What are your thoughts on this?
I see there's two ways to look at this whole situation. One, we know how the Memphis Grizzlies play without John Morant in their lineup. They were actually an above 500 team when he missed a couple games due to injury at the beginning of the season. Then they have Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bain carrying the load. They've got a pretty solid team all the way around. They're the second team in the West, but I could also see them almost taking a Pelicans-esque dip from, top of the West to are they going to even make the play-in? It's a little too late in the season for them to drop that much. But in my opinion, they're definitely going to drop from the second seed. And it was really funny yesterday when I was posting about the updates in the Grizzlies organization, because I start with the John Morant flashing a gun post, right? And as I'm making that post, I get a notification. Oh yeah, Brandon Clark is also out with an Achilles tear. Okay, I got to do that one. I'm doing that one right as I'm making it. Oh, also, Dylan Brooks is suspended a game because he's gotten 16 techs this season, which, you know, he might be the quietest tech getter in the NBA. Big talker, but it's rare you see what his techs, unless you're a Grizzlies fan or you just watch a lot of the Grizzlies.
Right.
It doesn't make its way to mainstream media. But I can see why the NBA community paints Dylan Brooks as this villain, even though he's a stud. He's averaging, I think, around 17, 18 points per game. Don't roll your eyes at me, man. I'm going to back this kid because he's Canadian, right? To an extent. I do think that his words for Draymond Green were a little unnecessary, but that's part of the game, right? Like, it's almost – I mentioned this to you yesterday. I think that the Grizzlies had some sort of informal meeting amongst players at the beginning of the season and said, look, we want to paint this picture of ourselves. We want to be as hated as we can get, because in the NBA, bad publicity is good publicity, and they're able to make a name for themselves. And look, if they're able to back this up with their play, which for the most part they have, and people aren't really giving them credit for that, they're second in the West in a tough Western Conference. That being said, I think that they got together and were like, look, I'm gonna start, the JJJ controversy with the home
Stat
team
padding.
counting more steals and blocks than when he's on the road. Dylan Brooks gnawing everyone's ear off, and John Morant quite literally acting like a thug. I want to get your opinion on John Morant, and I want to hear what you think about his decisions and how, even though I know he was made well aware of the backlash he got from, the prior incident a few weeks ago regarding him branding a gun in front of a 17-year-old after supposedly beating him up.
First of all,
I'm sure he was well aware of that online, and now he goes and pulls this the same day that he was named Powerade's, new face of the brand.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to be careful with what I say, because I don't want to come off insensitive. I don't want to come off, but I don't want to come off like I'm in the shut up and dribble movement, because I'm not. But this is how I view it. You get paid millions and millions of dollars to dribble a rubber basketball up and down a court for 48 minutes. And no, these are accusations. Nothing has been proven guilty. You are innocent until proven guilty. But if these accusations hold true, a grown role model who is a millionaire pulls a gun on a 17-year-old? Now, again, that's an accusation, so I can't come up here and accuse him of doing that. But if the reports are true, that is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly disgusting. It's inhumane. And what are you doing beefing with a 17-year-old?
It's downright stupid. Like, it's
what are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
And first of all, I'm not saying you should go around beating 17-year-olds. But if you need to, you are an athlete. You are an athlete. You are in shape, dude. You are jacked. If you have to pull a gun on a 17-year-old, that is ridiculous. I mean, dude, that is weak. That is weak. First of all, you shouldn't hit a 17-year-old. But as an athlete, if your two hands can't do the talking, and you have to flash a gun to threaten a kid, you are a loser. No, I'm saying it. You are a loser.
I agree. And I wonder if the teenager was Victor Wembanyama, and that's the reason he had to
listen. Listen, man. Listen, and those accusations come out, and whether they're true or not, you go on Instagram Live the other night and you display a weapon that appeared to be a gun, and so people are saying, "Oh, it was a lighter. It was a lighter." First of all, even if it was a lighter shaped as a gun, he's sitting there with it and he's smiling and he's smiling and he's smiling, making a total mockery of the situation that he damn well knows is going on right now. That is inhumane. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing. You are a role model to children who are 17 years old.
Yeah.
And you have the life O'Reilly. Look, every athlete is human, and they go through real life problems just like you and I, exactly like you and I. They get depression. They have mental health issues. They have days where they're happy, and they have days where they are downright depressed and sad, and I get it. But pulling a gun and handling the situation the way that it's been handled right now, I don't care what shoes John Morant is in. That is embarrassing. And there are words that I can describe the situation, but I would get kicked off the air because I'm serious when I say that. Look, I'm not going to get, this has nothing to do with politics. To me, this is common sense. You do not do what you do. You do not do what John Morant does. You are a role model. People look up to John Morant. People that like the whole LeBron James situation when he was flopping around on the court and stuff. I understand that, heat of the moment, you're competitive, you want to win, you're 20 years in. I get it. But you're trying to set an example and you are setting a really bad example. So, if there was a meeting in the beginning of the season, like you were talking about, Oscar, about how let's try to be the villains, let's try to be the bad boy Pistons, the Jailblazers, let's try to be all those teams, things that this league is lacking. I'm okay with physicality. I'm okay with trash talking. But when it comes to this type of stuff, this is way bigger than basketball. And this is real world stuff. In this, for that, you should be suspended more than 2 games. And I think this whole 2 game suspension is to handle the situation, to dig more dirt for this situation, to get the facts straight. Because if this situation is what it is reported to be, John Morant is going to be facing a lot more than 2 game suspension. And look, I know I just went on a rant. That's how I feel about the situation. I think it's utterly disgusting. I think it's embarrassing. And I don't know the whole facts to the whole 17-year old story. So I'm not going to sit here and guarantee and give you my 100% opinion on it. But if what it is reported is true, my thoughts on the situation.
John Morant was raised in a pretty good environment. He had a stable family life, from what I understand. He went to a private high school. He was a touted recruit. I mean, not the most highly touted, but he had a lot going for him. There was never a need for him to put on this persona that he's a tough, thuggy kind of guy. And to touch on your mention of this could be an instance perhaps of maybe a mental illness, or he's going through something. There comes a point where you just can't blame it on that sole reason anymore. There's a reason that people who suffer from mental illness and they do things of this caliber, they're taken somewhere to go be reevaluated and sort out the issue. But for him to pull what he's pulling, like he said he's actually stepping away from the team for an undisclosed amount of time. And I think that it's at face value, I don't think there's a mental illness problem with John Morant. I don't think that he's got any real reason to brand himself this way. It's almost like he was tired of just, he was the poster child of the NBA for not too long. You know what I mean? Like there's a new John Morant highlight out every single day. And he had the world in his hands. The NBA world was at his hands. He's probably one of the most marketable, exciting players to watch in recent NBA history. Seeing John Morant pull the sort of stunts that he's pulling is disappointing to me. And as you said, it's disappointing for people who look up to John Morant. I had an altercation online yesterday talking to somebody about, he really needs to clean up his game because he is a role model to kids who come from bad situations and don't have a role model at home. That's what happens. I mean, if you don't idolize your parents or whatever, it's likely that you will idolize somebody who you look up to in other facets of life. So, athletes are some of the most common idols for young children nowadays.
100%.
And the altercation online, the guy was saying to me, he's like, you know, you don't have to look to these guys. You know, you can look elsewhere. You know, you can try and look up to someone who's like an activist. And if you're coming from a rough situation and you are, you know, it's a tough family life, like it's hard for you to find out and distinguish what is right in life. And I don't want to get too philosophical about it, but short story is there are kids that look up to John Morant. There are kids that look up to LeBron James. Anybody. I get extremely mad at LeBron James and guys like Luka Doncic because their reactions to referees are disgusting. And if you pulled that in a high school game, you're out. There's not even a question about that. But there's superstar treatment, and that ties into my next point. Is like, if this was a bottom of the bench type of player who was doing this like John Morant is doing, I can guarantee you that he'd be released by today. You know, just a few days removed from the incident, they wouldn't think twice. But since there's so much money tied up in Morant, he's the most marketable player in Memphis Grizzlies history. And I have no problem in saying that. He's the most recognizable Grizzlies player ever at this point. If I'm the Grizzlies, I know I understand that they have, on the business side of things, you got to keep him happy. Alternatively, it's not going to bode well for you in terms of image. You know, there will come a point in time where this is swept under the rug and it's dealt with, and John Morant likely will return to the team and continue playing the way he's been playing. But I almost feel like this whole I'm just taking a step away is such a cop-out. It's such a, you know, what are you going to go assess? He needed some guidance throughout this point in his career. It blows my mind that he even needed this guidance because it just seems, like you said, like common sense. And
Yeah.
I'm disgusted by it. I'm not a fan of his on-court antics, and I don't think anybody at all in their right mind is a fan of what he's doing off the court.
Well, let's focus on a couple positive things because NBA awards came out for the month of February. Couple coaches of the month, both from the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. The Milwaukee Bucks, Mike Budenholzer, who is an extremely underrated coach, and I say that as a Celtics fan. From the time he was in Atlanta, from the time he's won a championship in Eastern Conference Finals championships with the Milwaukee Bucks, he held a 10-0 record in February last month. I think he is incredibly underrated. Nobody really talks about him. A phenomenal coach, and he's obviously has bigger intentions than a Coach of the Month award. But something that I bet you holds near and dear to his heart is the award of Mike Brown. I mean, this franchise of the Sacramento Kings has turned around this season. Just tremendous. I love the storyline. I love the light the beam. I love the third in the Western Conference with Western Conference Finals hopes. An 8-4 record presented itself for Mike Brown, and as he led the Sacramento Kings to a 8-win month of February. Out of 12 games, he won 8 of them. So just phenomenal job by these two coaches. We also have players of the month. Eastern Conference, Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks, 27 points per game on 4 rebounds and 6 assists. A really, really, really solid month from not only Jalen Brunson, but the rest of the New York Knicks, who we'll get to in a moment. Western Conference Player of the Month, going for his third MVP in a row consecutively. It's Nikola Jokic, 22 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists. He's averaging a triple-double in the month of February. Damian Lillard, I think he got snubbed. Rookies of the month, Paolo Banchero. Hey, he's not knocking down threes at an efficient rate, but all around, he's doing one hell of a job. 16.5 points a game on 7.5 rebounds a game, as well as 3.3 assists per game. Hey, Oscar, that's your boy, Walker Kessler. You called it last week. He is your rookie of the month in the Western Conference, averaging nearly 11 points on 11 rebounds and 3.2 blocks per game. That's huge. That's big time. Talk to me, not about your boy Paolo, but about Walker Kessler. He's killing it. He's killing it.
Yeah. I mean, to use this time to talk about Paolo would almost sort of be like a waste of time because he's not shooting well. He bounced back in the beginning of March. Like our last game against the Hornets, he went for a 30-piece. He made 2 of 6 3-pointers. Thank God he made a 3-pointer. But yeah, I mean, looking at Walker Kessler, I think he was the easy pick for this year's Western Conference Rookie of the Month. We've seen a guy that at the beginning of the draft, pre-draft workouts, it was doubtful that he would even be drafted. And, there's this sort of reintegration of a traditional big man in the NBA nowadays, and teams that wanted to adhere or relate to the game in terms of small ball and trying to make your whole lineup full of shooters. They realized that you can have like four shooters on the court and one really big dude who's going to make sure that the boards go to him. He's
Right.
protecting the rim, and it's almost becoming one of the most valuable positions in the NBA today. I mean, we look at teams like, the Warriors thrived off of having a guy like Kevon Looney in their lineup as of late, right? During their dynasty run, he was less of a factor because the rest of the league was seeing how successful Golden State was at running this small ball lineup, having a 6'7" Draymond Green at center. Now the game has taken another shift where, as long as the big guy like Walker Kessler is mobile, and he doesn't look mobile, he looks like a tennis player, but he's blocking shots at a historic rate right now for a rookie. He's far off like the rookie record because I believe that was Manute Bol averaging like 5 blocks per game. Like, oh my God, how do you even comprehend that? But
Right.
Walker Kessler, what a success story, man. I'm super proud of the kid. And if I'm a Utah Jazz fan, hell, I am as excited as any other team in the league. I think they've got they've got the brightest future. I also wanted to talk to you about the Sacramento Kings because we talked about Mike Brown and his great month with the team. I mean, I think there were other coaches with better records, but how do you feel about the Sacramento Kings? Third in the West.
Love it.
Arguably the best offensive team in the NBA right now. And in my opinion, the key to their success is Domantas Sabonis. Having a
snub from the All-Star starting lineup as well.
He deserved to get it in the first go-around. And I'll let you talk about it in just a sec, but I wanted to make this point, and I wanted to see your thoughts on it. Traditionally, the point guard and the smaller guys are the playmakers. They're the ones that, are able to feed it inside, find open shots for other guys. And if you want to be successful that way, you also have to be a pretty good shot creator. That being said, if a big man like Domantas Sabonis, Nikola Jokic, Alperen Şengün, those types of guys, they are becoming the playmakers of their team. And in my opinion, I find this a little more effective than your point guard doing this because your big man is in like one of the most vulnerable spots on the court, and he's able to see everybody on the perimeter. And if they're talented offensively enough, they can gain enough attention on defense, maybe get double teamed, and bang, out for a three. That's the easiest way, in my opinion, to set up a three off of an assist, is if you're a big man in the paint and you're able to draw attention and dish it out. So I don't know. What do you think? What's the key to Sacramento's success this year?
I think it's their offense. I mean, their offense is extremely, extremely efficient. I also think it's their home court advantage. Those fans haven't seen a playoff series in almost 20 years. I mean, it's actually ridiculous. The closest that they've been to a title is their summer league title back in 2020 or 2021, whenever that was. So I'm really happy for the Sacramento Kings. I mean, they're first in points per game. And then after that, they're fourth in assists per game. They're 28th. It's where their defense. It's the defense. They're 28th in offensive points per game. Their opponent's points per game, rather. They're 28th at 118.5. So it's definitely going to be their defense. But look, let me take a look at the standings. Next week we'll have an updated graphic on stream of the standings. That mainly because we're getting close to playoff time, so seeding is going to be really crucial in the next few weeks. They're the 3 seed. I'm going to tell you right now, they'd be playing the 6 seed Dallas Mavericks. Sacramento would have home court advantage. I could see them beating Dallas in a series. I could see them beating Minnesota. I could see them sweeping the Los Angeles Clippers. I really could. I have them beating Utah. I have them beating the Pelicans. I have them beating the Lakers if the Lakers squeak in there.
They're not. The Lakers will not squeak in there. I'm
just saying. They're a game behind 10th. The luck can change. I could see them, honestly. I could see them beating the Memphis Grizzlies if they meet in the second round. I mean, I seriously think that what they're displaying on the court is the real deal. I don't think it's just a lucky regular season. I think these guys are legit. I think they deserve more coverage. And let's look at the division standings. They are in sole possession of the Pacific Division.
Best team in
Yeah.
California, man.
Best. Hey, you know what's funny? 2023 basketball is so strange. We see the Sacramento Kings leading the Pacific Division and the Los Angeles Lakers 8 games behind them in last place. That's how much has changed drastically in the NBA. You know who else is making a run right now? It's the New York Knicks. Go Knicks, go! Bing bong, the Knicks are back, baby. As
Go
a
New
Celtics
York, go
fan,
New York, go. Go New
look,
York, go New York, go.
these guys are on a roll. They meet my Celtics tonight, so we'll talk about them next week. Let's see if the Celtics can break this streak. But the Knicks have won 8 straight games, and during this streak, it's been Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. Randle just under 30 points a game, Brunson just under 28. These guys have been unfriggin' believable, and they're beating really, really good teams. One of those teams are the Celtics. They've beat 2 times during this streak. I mean, really, what the Knicks have on display, they're the real deal. I think they give the Celtics issues. I think the Celtics beat them in the playoffs here. I think they give the Celtics some issues in the playoffs, take them to 6. I think they beat Cleveland. That might be a crazy take. I think they take Cleveland. I see them taking Brooklyn. I see them taking Miami, Atlanta, Toronto. I mean, these guys have a serious opportunity to have an Atlanta Hawks-esque type run a few years ago where they miraculously make it to the conference finals. Even if they don't make it to the conference finals, I think they put up one hell of a fight. I think they get out of the first round for sure.
Easy. It's a sweep. I mean, look, the only teams that pose a threat in the East to the New York Knicks are the Bucks, the Celtics, and
maybe Philly.
Maybe Philly.
Maybe.
I would say the Cavs of the teams that you said that they would beat are the most likely opponent to take them down. But that series is going 6-7 games guaranteed. We know that the Knicks were able, like you said, they beat some good teams on this 8-game win streak. They beat, Utah, Brooklyn, Atlanta, Washington, New Orleans, Boston, Brooklyn again, and Miami. And I'll be honest with you, man, the Knicks fans that doubted Julius Randle when he came to that city, eat your words. I cannot believe the sheer amount of hate this guy got. The hate that the Knicks got for paying Jalen Brunson what they paid him. I think the Knicks fan base is so hilariously toxic. And I was saying this to you before the phone call. It might sound like a broken record, but if I'm a Knicks player, never ever am I going on social media or pursuing a presence actively on social media. The hate these guys get, oh my God, I can get why they turn their comments off. But looking at this team, it looks like RJ Barrett is kind of best suited as a non-1 or 2 option.
Which is okay.
It's just fine. I mean, look, like it's tough to use him as a spot-up shooter because he's an average at best shooter from beyond the arc. His mid-range is okay. He's a great guy off the drive. He's explosive. And his stroke is looking better and better. To think that he was the number 1 option, I think he eventually could be. But on this Knicks team, you got to let Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle cook. Their schedule for the rest of the year, they're playing some really solid teams. There's only a few teams that I think that could take them down. I think Denver will beat them. I think the Magic will beat them. And I think Boston probably gets a win here. I say the Magic will
Bro,
win.
snuck in the Magic, but barely mentioned this. All right, whatever.
The issue with that is when the Knicks play in Orlando, the stadium is split half and half. Or the Amway Center in Orlando is the home for away fans. We're like the Chargers of the NBA in a way. You know what I mean?
It felt like the TD Garden when we were there.
And the Heat fans, man. It's Heat, Celtics.
Yeah, but the Heat. Yeah, but the Heat are understandable because they're across the street. So that's a little understandable though.
The beef is like when the Magic play in Miami at American Airlines Arena or Center. I forget which one it is. It's still majority Miami fans. It's tough. It's hard, but. Look, man, the Knicks are legit. The Knicks and the Kings, I wouldn't be surprised if they match up in the finals this year. I said it here, and I'm not taking it back. No, seriously. I think Sabonis and Fox versus Brunson and Randle. Look, man, that would be a matchup for the century. Are you kidding me?
All right. Hey, look, let's stay on the topic of Knicks. Let's check out your top 10 Knicks jerseys of all time. Like the Knicks have some of the most basic yet iconic uniforms of all time, but I think both of us put together very solid lists. I don't
Yeah, I want to. I
like
want
I
to
think
expand. Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't think there's anything on either of our list we can like freak out about. Like I think they're both solid solid lists.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to just quickly expand on these. Um, the Carmelo Anthony era in New York produced some of the, and these jerseys aren't overwhelmingly amazing.
Right.
They
Like
just
they're not
they're clean
sexy.
enough. They're clean enough and iconic enough to keep making them this way, right? But there's nothing that it's like, oh, it's crazy eye catching.
Mm.
The first three jerseys I have here are all from the Carmelo Anthony era for the most part. Oh no, the third one is 2010. So they kind of kept that same design afterwards. The orange ones were solid. I have a St. Patty's Mellow jersey, and the 2010 away jersey. It just reminds me of Jeremy Lin. I mean, they kept that same
Mm.
concept going forward a little bit, but it reminds me of Jay Lin and how much of a killer he was in New York. Following that, it's the last two seasons City jerseys. I love this black look because they
Yeah.
incorporate. You can't see it here, but they incorporate some blue on the sides, and it's a rare case of NBA jerseys looking good while inverted. The second half of this list, one of the best year for Christmas jerseys was 2014 when they were sleeved.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know. You're not a fan of sleeve jerseys, but man,
No, I
come on,
like them though.
yeah, they're nice. And to round out this list, another statement jersey. They've done well with their alternates in the past three seasons. I loved this
Clean.
the New York City Fire Department
Mm.
theme jersey. And you and I said the Latin Knights in Nueva York. I mean, that's something I wish they would bring back
Yeah.
and spice it up a little bit for all teams. And to round it all up, the 1979 home jerseys with the number ahead of the font, which you don't see much
Yikes.
anymore, but it kind of worked for New York in the time.
Yikes. That one's like something you see in a museum. Like
Yeah,
it's like not top 10 for me, but I mean like
no, I get it. But New York does not have great jerseys if we're being
yeah.
honest. Yeah.
Right. They're all kind of the same. As you could tell, every single jersey here says New York.
Hmm.
Um The St. Patrick's Day jerseys are my number one. I mean, dude, they're just so iconic. They're rare. Like, not every NBA team had a St. Patrick's Day jersey. I think these are just so clean. Might be a little biased because I'm a Celtics fan, but I just love the green. I don't know. It just pops, and the orange just pops. Green and orange aren't two colors you typically see together. So when you see them at a rare occurrence, it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
These away jerseys, I just think are iconic. I think of Jeremy Lin as well. I think of Stoudemire. I think of Tyson Chin. I think the black trim is so
Hmm.
clean, and I wish they didn't get rid of that. But that
Yes.
I don't know, that to me has always been like a clean jersey. These statement jerseys, you had them on your list too. Again, I think it's so clean. I like how they use a little bit of every color. I like the stroke on the New York, the orange. I think is pretty cool. Um, the city jerseys, the black and orange. Like I get it, Halloween esque type feel, but I just think the black and orange colors just pop. I think it's so nice.
No,
Um,
the coolest part of that jersey is the blue trim on the side because
yeah,
it's not entirely it's not entirely a Halloween theme.
right. I just think it's clean. These Christmas jerseys I love. I think these were some of the best Christmas jerseys of all time. I just like the font. It's very Christmassy, just a good
Yeah.
vibe all around.
Yeah.
And then the 2017 statement uniforms, basically just a white version of the 2020 statements.
Dude,
Um,
that's an Ennis Cantor jersey.
that isn't it.
When I see that jersey,
Oh,
when I see that
why?
jersey, I know I struck a nerve with you. I know Celtics fans hate the guy,
Well,
but
he's just brain dead. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a solid jersey, dude. I like. I don't know if I don't know. I think the strokes. It's funny, like when we talk about graphics and stuff, and we like the fonts. Like we're very specific
yeah.
over fonts and colors and stuff. I just think this works well, as you can see on like the collar, like on the sides too. Like I think it works pretty well. I think it's a clean, crisp jersey. Nothing like sexy about it, but it's just clean. And then the
Yeah,
New
it's the,
York
it's the
jerseys.
it's the white stroke. It's the white stroke around the letters, then followed by the blue stroke afterwards. That
Yeah.
really makes it. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it makes it pop. And then these jerseys, these are just like their standard home jerseys from the Carmelo era or just before the Carmelo era. But I think again, the black, I think it all pops well. The black on the side and then with the dark blue and the orange. Just I don't know. I wish the Knicks didn't stare away from that. And then their current icon edition jerseys, similar to the Celtics and Lakers. There's nothing crazy about them, but they're just so iconic that it's hard not for me to put such an iconic uniform on the list. And then these Christmas jerseys, so these aren't in my top 10. I do like these, but these were the 2013 Christmas jerseys. I remember the Celtics and Nets played against each other. I meant to put the jersey that Oscar has at number 1, their 2013 alternate, which is a similar jersey, just as you can tell the lettering is a blue lettering with a white stroke, and these are like these are what?
These are the worst damn jerseys,
dude. I picked
the
the wrong
NBA ever
ones.
put out, man.
I put the wrong ones.
No, I get it because the other ones, if you look at the one that I did, the number 1, it's got like this shade of orange that pops more.
Yeah,
And
like a light, right?
yeah, and the one
I know.
that you had picked originally, it's just so like you can't read it. It's so bad.
I know, dude. I picked the friggin' wrong one.
I get it. No worries.
But I do like what was going on in the league back then. Yeah, I do. And then the 2008, 2010 Latin night, I just thought, okay, I understand. It's literally just the same jersey as the 2010, 2012, just in Latin. Like, I don't know, man. I love it. I think it's clean, crisp. I think not every team had a Latin night jersey, so I think it was cool for the culture and just it was a bigger than basketball moment. Um, and then, like I said, number 1, what do I think of when I see this jersey? I just think of who's the guy that got knocked out by
Nate Robinson,
the
baby.
Disney Channel guy? Yeah, him, the one that got flattened out on the canvas by a YouTuber.
Okay.
Yeah, that.
Simmer
I
down,
think that.
man.
I think that. No,
Show
but
Nate
seriously,
some
I think both of our lists are pretty respectable. I
No,
think they're
I'll
both.
give you that. I'll give you that. You know what? The Magic had a Latin night jersey, which was cool, and it was, but it just said El Magic.
All right. Look, we have a few minutes left. I thought it'd be fun if we could put together our own team of Knickerbockers. Like, I think it'd be dope. We took what, like 20 to 30 of the best Magic players, maybe no more notable, Knicks players of all time. Let's draft a team. Let's draft a starting 5, and we could say a coach, but we don't have coaches at the top of our head. But let's
No,
build
but
a starting.
the rules for this are, you have to draft a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, a 6th man, and a coach. I'm gonna quickly refresh my memory on Knicks coaches. I'm gonna pull it up right here. But yeah, I think we're good to go. Do you want to start with the first pick, or should we? How do we determine this?
Let's rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah? On camera? Okay, ready?
Yeah, on camera.
Okay, on shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Wait.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like rock, paper. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Damn it, Oscar! Come on,
buddy.
Am I delayed?
No, we're on time. Just okay.
All
on
right.
3. 1, 2, 3.
2, 3.
Rock.
Oh.
No. Okay, I'm flipping a coin.
No, we can do it. We can do it right here. Rock.
You think so?
Right,
okay.
We're doing it. We're doing it. Ready? Rock.
Okay, you got to count me down. You got to count me down.
3, 2, 1, go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Flip a coin. Flip a coin. It's ridiculous.
Hold on. Hey Siri, flip a coin. Oh no, we don't even know what we're doing yet.
I want heads. I want heads.
Okay, I'll give you heads. Hey Siri, flip a coin. Hold on.
Heads or tails, Siri?
1 moment.
Heads or tails?
Yeah, she's taking forever. My bad.
It's heads. Gee, all you had to ask is hesitate. Okay, so I get the number 1 pick in the New York Knicks draft. Okay, I am going to take at my number 1 pick. I'm gonna take Pat Ewing
Ah,
at center.
man. Okay, I've got a list here. In my opinion, there's only two. There's 2 players you can pick in this position: Willis Reed or Carmelo Anthony. It's gonna kill me if I give you Carmelo, but I'm gonna take Willis Reed, the guy that brought the Knicks to a championship, the one that won an MVP. I think Willis Reed all time is better than Carmelo Anthony. Give me Willis Reed at the center spot. Oh, do we do a serpentine draft so that you don't get the first pick every time?
What are you talking about?
You know how you go like you'll start and then I go 1-2 and then you go 1-2 and then I go 1-2.
I just figured I figured we'd just do me, you, me, you, me, you,
all right,
me, you.
All right. No,
is that what you want to do? Is that what you want to do?
No, you won.
So what? So what? Now I get 2. Now I get 2 people, and then you get 2 people.
No, I would. So no, I would. What would happen is you go first, and then I get the next 2 picks, and then you get the next 2 picks, and then I get the next 2 picks.
All right, go for it. So what are you taking, Melo?
Okay. Give me
Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, dude.
That's easy. And yeah.
All right.
See who you take.
I need a.
You need anybody but a center.
Is Charles Oakley was a center, right?
Charles Oakley was a power forward, I think.
I'm not gonna know position, so you're gonna have to help me out on the position.
I got you. No, I'm telling you right now, he was a power forward.
I'm gonna take.
Let's go. Take him. Come on, take him.
No. Nope.
Take him.
Nope. I'm taking Marcus Camby.
Oh, even better. Yes. Oh, I get my pick. Actually, I hope I do. Actually, you have one more. Sorry, you have one more pick.
I need a guard now. I like Marcus Camby. You know what? I'm taking Marcus Camby, and I'm putting him at my 6th man.
Okay.
I think that's solid. I think Marcus Camby's a very solid all-around player. I think I could shove him on my bench.
Most broken jump shot in NBA history. Like one of top 5 most broken jump shot ever.
Okay. So
but solid defender. Solid defender.
At power forward.
So yeah, you've got Marcus Camby and Patrick Ewing. You guys will be raining bricks on us.
I'm taking Jamal Crawford at my 2.
Okay.
I think that's a solid pick. It'll get me some buckets.
So, from what I'm understanding is you forgot who the hell Walt Frazier is.
That's crazy. I was going to pick him, and then You've already
made your picks. Now I get 2 ones. Give me Walt Frazier. That's an easy. Walt.
Where are you putting him?
Oh, point guard.
Okay.
So I got Willis Reed, Carmelo, and Walt Frazier. I'm already smoking you.
Yeah.
Now I want. Who do I need? I need a power forward. I need a shooting guard, a 6-man. I think I'm gonna take Amari Stoudemire.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna take Stoudemire. Sorry, buddy. Wow, what a team!
Yeah. And that's crazy. That's crazy too, because this is probably the worst team you're gonna ever put together. Because the Knicks players aren't that great. We don't have a great pool to choose from in my defense. Like, can you at least admit that?
No, it's slim pickings here, man. I mean, unless you're well versed in 70s basketball, this team will probably seem kind of mid to you. But now that I'm lacking a shooting guard, I have my eyes set on Bernard King, but I believe he was a small forward.
All right. I'm gonna take.
Um,
I mean, dude, if you really want to throw somebody at your guard, you already took your 2 picks. You slow the hell down.
wait.
You
Yeah,
took
no, I
Walt
did take my two
Frazier
picks.
and
Yeah, you're right.
Stoudemire.
Sorry. Go ahead.
All right, I need a guard and a small forward. I'm not really worried about my power forward at the moment. I'm gonna take.
Come on, buddy.
Give me. You know what? Little recency bias here.
That's fine.
Give me a little. Oh, dude, this is tough. Give me.
I mean, you could do Bernard King, you could do Randall, you could do John
What
Stark.
what position is King? Is he a forward or is he a guard?
King's a forward, but he's 6'7", so I guess we could allow you to put him at shooting guard.
No, because I'm putting Jimmy C at my shooting guard.
Jimmy
Jamal
C.
Jamal Crawford.
If you ever interview him, you should call him Jimmy. See how
Jimmy
he
C.
responds.
I'm putting. All right. By the way, we're putting these teams on 2K, so stay tuned for TikTok. And you know what, dude? You're gonna be like, dude, what the hell is that pick? But 2K loves big men. Give me Tyson Chandler at my power forward. He's gonna be the tough one. I think he's gonna be the tough, Tyson Chandler. And give me at my forward, give me Bernard King.
Good picks.
I think
Good
those
picks.
are 2 solid picks. I think those are 2 like physicality picks. And at my
You're
guard
kind of
spot next round, like I'm gonna have to choose somebody. I want to keep with the physicality. That's what I'm going for, is physicality.
you're kind of pushing it here, saying Tyson can play power forward, but I think I'll allow it.
Do you want me to repick?
Nope.
Because I could I'll trade Marcus Camby's ass and fucking send him to the Bobcats if that's what you want to do, bro. And I'll put Tyson on the bench.
It's too late. The draft pick is in. You're just going to have to deal with your lack of floor spacing. I mean, look, you got Camby, you got Ewing, and you got Chandler.
Yeah,
Like,
but Camby don't have to play, bro. Camby could be an insurance player.
That's a good point. That's a very good
I
point.
think he's a very solid. I think Camby is a very solid insurance player.
You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in Jeremy Lin as my 6-man.
Yep.
And to round this all out, I just need a shooting guard. And wow. I'm going to put John Starks at shooting guard. Wow, what a team. What a team.
I think it's only fair with the remaining players left in. I still have a pick left. But
okay.
For the picks that you want, if you want, swap out one player. Not on my team. Players who haven't been picked yet. You could swap out a player, and that's you got one trade. You get one buy. You can buy somebody out and then pick somebody up in free agency. I think that's fair for each of us. We each get one buy. We could buy somebody out and pick somebody up unless you want to keep your team. Don't overthink it though, because you could think you're going to get better. Or should I make my pick and then we do it? Because I still have an open roster spot.
Make your pick.
All right. I need a point guard. Can you name me off some point guards on this list? Seriously, because I can't pick out no point guards.
Jalen Brunson, Mark Jackson, Stephon Marbury, and that's it. I think your best bet is Mark Jackson or Marbury. Why? Who's your point guard now? Who is your?
I don't have a point guard. That's why I asked you to name guards.
Okay, well, you have some actually pretty decent picks. These aren't terrible. They're not like Magic level bad.
I'm going to go. Listen, I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson at my 1, and I'm going to buy out Marcus Camby at my 6 spot.
I got to you. I did it.
I'm going to buy out. Hold on one second. I got to make sure that this.
Can I guess who you're going to sign?
Yes, you can.
J.R. Smith.
So I really, really think that I lack shooting. I think Tyson and Pat Ewing can handle the post. So what I'm going to do,
Easily.
even though Camby averages a double-double in his career, just under 9 points, or just under 10 points, 10 assists, I need some shooting on this team. But if I'm going with the 2K simulator and it favors big men, I might want to keep Camby.
Bro, make your pick. For Christ's sake. I don't care about your thought process. Pick the damn player. I think we're sleeping on Earl Monroe, honestly.
You just want me to pick him.
No, I just think if you're looking for a more versatile big, Porzingis is still here.
Yeah, but I don't think you understand. I need somebody who can come in off the bench, and I need somebody who can shoot me a high clip. It's somebody who can shoot me a high clip off the bench.
J.R. Smith. Actually, no, he
be,
wasn't a high clip.
I'm going to take Mark Jackson. I think a solid 38 to 42% will do me off the bench. I'm going to take Mark Jackson. So Jalen Brunson, Jamal Crawford, Bernard King, Tyson Chandler, Pat Ewing, Mark Jackson. I think of the players you selected, I think I have a very solid team from the players that you selected. I mean, I think you have a very good team, and I think you beat me, but I also think I put up a solid fight. I do. I can confidently say that.
I think your confidence is blinding you, my friend. I think I'm smacking you left, right, and center. I mean, look, you have the better defensive bigs than I do, but my bigs are almost more intimidating in a way. My guards, are you kidding me? I've got some of the best bucket getters in New York Knicks history here.
I have Jamal Crawford. Jimmy C is gonna just piece
great.
out.
No, you can play Jamal Crawford 30 minutes and he'll shoot 25% from the field. No, that's great. That's fine.
I'm all about a team player. If the shots are there and he's taking them and he's just missing, you just have an off night. That's all. I'm a team player. I think Jalen Brunson's a very solid pick. I think he's a very solid pick. I think that the people, the recency bias people are gonna say, "Where's J.R. Smith? Where's Julius Randle?"
Bro, J.R. Smith is like half the player Jalen Brunson is, literally.
Let's just say this. I think both these two teams, compared to other franchises that we are going to have to build rosters from, I think even though you might beat me here, I think these two teams are just horrible compared to what the potential that we have with the remaining 29 teams. But with all due respect, I think we should put this on 2K and put this to the test in the future. I think that'd be a fun thing to do. Do you want to pick a coach? I mean, I don't. Do you want to pick a coach?
I'll take a coach. Well, we should do at least one coach. I'll read them off to you, okay? Who's gonna go first? Yeah. Me? I'll go first because you got the first pick.
Let's pick two coaches. Let's pick an assistant coach and a true coach. And the assistant coach can be a head coach too. It doesn't matter. So you pick your coach, and I'll pick my coach, and then I'll pick my assistant coach, and then you pick your assistant coach.
I am gonna take Red Holzman as my coach, because he's the one that led the Knicks to the championships that they won in the 70s. And now you can pick.
I'm going to say it.
You can pick Thibodeau. I'm going to scream. I'm going to scream if you pick Thibodeau.
I'm going to go with this. And I'm going to say Phil Jackson.
Okay, I can't even be mad at that.
I'm going to say Phil Jackson. I know the whole triangle offense thing sucked, but he's just a legendary coach. I'm going to go Phil Jackson.
And it should be noted that you're getting Knicks Phil Jackson and not Lakers and Heat Phil
No,
Jackson.
I'm getting whatever the fuck Phil Jackson I want.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. My assistant. Oh, you get an assistant coach.
This team is extreme. Hold on, I'm looking up. What is it? Knicks all-time head coaches.
You got Red Holzman. You got Pat Riley, who you take. Joe Lapchick.
Oh my gosh.
To me, it's between Jeff Van Gundy and Mike Woodson.
For my assistant coach, these two hate each other.
You good, Rick Pitino?
No. Nobody likes Rick Pitino.
No one does. Celtics fans hate Rick Pitino.
Phil Jackson and Pat Riley, because Pat Riley, I hate him, but I think that's just a duo that has the most championship experience. Maybe not with the Knicks, but just that in their careers, successful, big-time names. Remember, New York is a big-time market, and you might have the big-time market players. I want the big-time market coaches. I think those are two solid coaches.
I can't even be mad at that. Honestly, I confused Phil Jackson for Pat Riley like 10 seconds ago, and then I said you already took Pat Riley. That's a good pick. I apologize for that. That's a good pick, though. So your coaches are probably
better than my players.
I mean, look, with that caliber of coaching, you're going to do well. My assistant coach, you know what? One that's respected by the players, one that's going to like run through a brick wall for you. Give me Jeff Van Gundy.
Solid pick.
Easy pick. So now we've got our teams all lined up. My team at the 1, Walt Frazier. At the 2, John Starks. At the 3, Carmelo Anthony. At the 4, his running mate, Amare Stoudemire.
I love that pick.
Number 5, the best player in Knicks history, Willis Reed. And coming into the 6th man, Jeremy Lin. Coached by none other than Red Holzman and Jeff Van Gundy.
Mine, I got JB, Jalen Brunson. Solid all-around guard. Bring some youth. Bring some. Look, the 3-point. Not the greatest 3-point shooter, but the 3-point arc wasn't around when guys like Willis Reed and even throw in the John Starks. Like Brunson's going to bring that. He's going to bring that. Jamal Crawford, we know, great shooter. He's just all over the place. One of the greatest ball handlers of all time. Small forward, Bernard King. Power forward, Tyson Chandler, which I think is the key matchup, is Tyson Chandler and Amare Stoudemire. Two solid power forward / centers. Two guys who played together as teammates. They know what it takes to win. And then Pat Ewing at my center, one of the greatest centers to ever do it. And then my 6th man, Mark Jackson, coming off the bench. I need somebody who can score, stretch the floor. Mark Jackson is that guy. I think,
and he's a phenomenal facilitator. He passes the ball at an elite rate.
He was also the coach of the Knicks at one point. So if I need that little player coach, he's there if I need him on the bench. Then my assistant coach, Pat Riley. My head coach is Phil Jackson. I think those are just two huge names in NBA history. Love them or hate them, we know that they're a couple of the greatest head coaches of all time. I think, hey, look, man, I think talent-wise, you have me beat, but I think my coaching staff has my back. I think the physicality of my team, I think I'm going to smack you in the rebound department, which is going to be huge because if Jamal Crawford or Jalen Brunson, they're not on their money shooting, I need some guys who can get down low, get all dirty and gross, and who can get me offensive rebounds for those second chance opportunities. Carmelo Anthony, he's going to be taking a lot more than the 3 to the head, if you know what I mean. So, look, man, that's all we have today for the Lowe Zone. I think that today was a great episode. If you're a Knicks fan, this was a phenomenal episode, and you should tune in. But next week, we're getting closer to playoffs in all seriousness, Oscar. So the episodes, they're going to start ramping up. The news is going to start ramping up. The intensity is going to start ramping up. We got to get out of here because we have a Fortnite tournament to get to. But for next week, I'm Justin Lowe. That's Oscar Creed. Thank you guys so much for joining in. If you want oh gosh, I forgot to mention this. I know we're kind of running short on time here, but I forgot to mention this. This is the starting five. I think we're going to switch Mark to 1. He was super cool today. Mark, we're going to switch you to 1 for next week's episode. But if you want to be a part of starting five, you must be subscribed. You must chat here weekly. You must, be cool. Bring up some communicational skills. Be communicational in the group chat. Primo Pasta and Sauce is pointed. And then the top two viewers.
He's talking about
What?
Andrea Bargnani, for Christ's sake. He wanted us to take Bargnani in the draft.
Let's be honest, he wasn't even on our list.
He didn't
Oscar
even crack top 25.
Oscar made the list. Top two viewers will win a jersey of their choice, whether that's a Bernard King or a Bargnani uniform. That's all cool too. And then the 3 to 5 viewers will spin a wheel. You'll be whoever it lands on. You'll be our number 1 viewer for next season. When that season comes, maybe around playoff time or maybe even after playoffs. But for now, I'm Justin Lowe. That's Oscar Creed. We'll catch you next week. Same time, same place. Talking about different stuff, though, around the league. Any last words, Oscar?
It was a Knicks-themed episode. I'm glad we got to cover what was once the saddest team in the NBA in recent memory, and now they're on the come-up. I mean, look, if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm super excited. Our future, the future for the Knicks is still a question. But as of right now, I mean, look, they just got to keep building. And maybe the Knicks' final key to success is bringing back Andrea Bargnani.
All right. We got to go.